this episode, we're in the Carolinas to visit the Driveshaft shop. We're going to be picking up some cool parts and maybe get a peek to see how they're made. So we're in Salisbury, North Carolina, the home of the Driveshaft shop. And we are heading this way to meet with them to get, some really kick-ass parts for the Challenger for 2017. And maybe a little VIP tour of their facility and just see how they make these awesome Driveshaft components. So we're going to see if Frank's going to let us behind the scenes. We're about 5 minutes out. I'm ready. Got my go-go juice, aka coffee. So I think it's going to be a good one.
Here at the shop, we do quite a few different things. I mostly specialize in sport, compact, and modern muscle, although we do quite a bit of professional drag racing and other parts. Today we're here because our friend Eric, we noticed on Facebook and online a few different places, that he blew his rear end in his Challenger. Common problem with the Challenger, just happens to happen when you get too much horsepower in a car. What we do is we make a 9-inch IRS kit that directly bolts into the car. It comes with our 1400 horse axles, a nice drive shaft. Actually, the drive shaft that we're giving him has our new sound abatement interior in it. So if the rear end does have a little bit of noise, it'll actually calm that sound down in the cabin and make it a lot cleaner. What I think people don't realize when you get a 600, 700, 800 horsepower car like Eric's in the Ultimate Street Car Challenge is that you're constantly on and on and on. It's almost like a drag race car where you're banging 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes you might get into that fourth gear, but a lot of these newer compound tires, people don't realize the sidewalls don't wrinkle like a slick would. So when a wrinkled sidewall actually does that torsional movement, you actually break down the shock load over time, where a hard sidewall tire actually raises the shock load into the drivetrain so much more. And this is why, say like Eric on a 700 horse car actually saw the housing break free from the car. The 9-inch kit is designed to stay in there during this type of driving.
Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, Frank shares more knowledge about drivetrain performance and pulls back the curtain, giving us a full tour to see how these parts are made.
For over 40 years, Arrington has meant race-winning power. Today, Arrington powers the streets at ShopHemi.com. We design, engineer, and manufacture with just one goal: Hemi performance. Proven power for the street. See it at ShopHemi.com.
Here at the shop, we've recently taken on a lot of new equipment. We primarily run Mazak machinery. Recently we purchased a Mazak Integrex, a couple of new lathes, a lot of rack rolling machines. Recently we decided to grow. We went from 20,000 square foot to 50,000 square foot. It was a big move, big jump, but we figured we were up to this challenge. You know, guys that work here are really good. Everybody who does work at the shop is handpicked, and they're car guys. We all like doing this thing. We really enjoy what we do. Here's where the magic happens. This is Ken Shaw running his fine machine there. Here's a couple parts for Mark Carlisle's Corvette. This is the world's fastest IRS car. It's a special piece that he made. The original one actually started to crack.
So that's the original.
Yeah, you see how it cracked here?
Yeah.
So, you know,
And this is the piece you make here.
correct.
I mean, that is obviously stronger.
Yeah, definitely going to hold up. Over here is a pretty cool thing. This is the wall of bars. People don't realize how many bars the Driveshaft shop stocks. What we do is we have them in different materials and different spline counts. And what we've done is we go inside and we make the internal races and cages fit the bars, not the bars fit the standard part. So if we're going to do a Ford 8.8 to say a Corvette hub, instead of having a bar with two different splines, because we do so many different custom parts, is we actually have internals that can change. So if we need something like that, all we do is we lay out what it is, and then we just come to the wall, pick out the bar, and we go for it.
Awesome. Yeah, you definitely got a lot of bars there.
More than likely, these are actually SRT drives.
So these are actually for a Dodge SRT platform right here. Now, what are the advantages of upgrading to the aluminum drive shaft?
Well, people don't realize when you actually put shock load into the drive shaft and force it to twist, a steel drive shaft will go about 5 to 7 degrees. Aluminum shaft goes about 20 degrees, but both of those materials will actually spring back almost like a spring. It actually loads and unloads. The carbon, on the other hand, when you put a shock load into it, twists about 30 degrees, but it doesn't release that energy until the torque is taken off of it, so it helps with the 60-foot time and other things in the car. And we have Lonzy over here. He's putting on weights on a drive shaft, and basically what he's doing is once the shaft is made, you actually glue it, you put it together, it goes in the oven overnight, and then after it's assembled, balanced in a high-speed balancer, and then you put the weights on. The weights are actually glued on also just as if the ends were being put together. But even after the weights are done, then it has to go back in the oven and actually cured, so the weights are actually bonded and heated also.
And this is part of after you've balanced it, you come in here, this is part of the balancing process right here?
Correct, yeah. After it's done and balanced, then the weights actually have to be glued onto the shaft.
Okay, and they're glued on obviously for the carbon fiber setups.
Correct. Yeah, the other ones are actually pop riveted.
Okay. Well, Frank's taking a little bit of time out of his day to give me and you guys kind of a VIP tour of the Driveshaft shop. He's back with his guys. They're going to start rocking and rolling, producing some really quality parts. It's really been amazing seeing the engineering and the passion these guys put into every one of their parts. Speaking of parts, I got some parts to load up in the back of my car for the Time Attack Challenger. I'm going to love rocking that thing this year in the Ultimate Street Car and eventually showing it at SEMA. We hope you've enjoyed the video. Please share it to all your friends, because if you're looking for some high performance drive shaft and axles, definitely check out the Driveshaft shop.